This is Duke University.
Hi everyone, my name is Esha Shah. I graduated from Duke in 2020 with a Bachelor's of Science in Economics and Political Science. I'm currently a research analyst at RTI International. I came to Duke completely undecided about my major and spent my first year taking classes in different areas such as economics, political science, biology, and writing. I knew I wanted to take at least a couple of economics and political science related classes my first year because economics, government, and civics were some of my favorite classes in high school, so I thought I would start there. I really ended up loving the classes I took my first year, so I took more economics and poli-sci classes my second year and officially declared them both of them as my majors during spring semester of my sophomore year. Outside of academic interests, I knew I wanted to explore leadership opportunities and continue the community service work I did in high school. I was very lucky that I had really great RAs in my freshman year dorm, and they actually inspired me to become an RA myself. So I was an RA for the next 3 years of my time at Duke and absolutely loved it. It gave me tons of leadership experience and gave me the opportunity to not only guide the students that are coming behind me at Duke, but also develop a lot of skills I wouldn't be able to have otherwise. I also became really involved in Duke's chapter of Habitat for Humanity and helped build a house from start to finish in the local community, which was super cool. My advice to current undergrads who are thinking about choosing your major is that it's completely okay to not fully know what you want to do. Take your time exploring all your interests and taking classes in different fields. That will help you decide what you truly do enjoy and, just as important, what you don't enjoy. When I graduated from Duke, I would say the biggest challenge I faced was navigating a pretty volatile job market. I graduated at the height of the pandemic, so there were a lot of hiring freezes and major layoffs going on. And I'd say adding to that challenge was the fact that I still didn't know what I wanted to do post-graduation. So it was a very confusing time for me, but not just for me, but also for many of my classmates as well. To overcome those challenges of trying to figure out what I wanted to do after leaving Duke and the unpredictability of the job market, I did two main things. First, I was applying to any jobs that I fit the requirements for. It kind of gave me really great insight into what sort of companies were hiring at that time, but also just practice for applying and interviewing for jobs in general. Second, and most importantly, I spent a lot of that time networking with other Duke alums. I used to dread the word networking as an undergrad, and it would cause me such anxiety, but it really is not bad at all, especially the more you do it. I quickly found out that Duke alums love talking to other Duke students and trying to help them however they can. So I basically talked to any Duke alum that was willing to talk to me regardless of their background, their job title, whatever. And as an alumna myself, I can honestly say that I love it when Duke students reach out to me. And we really are willing to share our stories or lend a hand, however we can when students do reach out. So definitely take advantage of any opportunity you have to talk to other Duke alums. And even if you think it might not be useful for you, because you never know where a single conversation may lead you. I learned about RTI during one of the conversations I had with the Duke alum when I was networking. And I just loved everything they told me about it, like how impactful their work was, the amazing work culture they had, and the fact that their employees hardly ever leave once they get there because people just love their jobs so much there. But while I was super interested in RTI and actually applied to a few roles after graduation, they, like many other companies, weren't really hiring. So those applications didn't really get anywhere during that time. One of the other alums I talked to told me about College Advising Corps, which is another nonprofit that helps low income and underrepresented high school students get into college. And it just seemed like a really great fit for me because education is just one of my personal interests. CAC ended up working out for me because they had just launched a massive initiative in response to COVID to help students affected by the pandemic continue their path to college. And CSU was actually wanting to hire newly graduate students for this specific initiative. So I applied, got the position, and continued my work there for 2 years as a virtual college advisor. And during my 2 years at CSE, I was still very interested in RTI as a potential company to work for in the future. And it was always still in the back of my mind for when my time with CSE would be over. So I continued to stay in touch with the people I talked to there and started making new connections as well through the people I already knew. And as my time with CAC was coming to an end, I actually reached out to the Duke alums I knew and connected with at RTI and told them of my continued interest for the company. So I was pretty lucky because RTI was actually hiring a lot during that time. And I was actually able to find a role that I really liked, that I felt was a really great fit for, and that I thought had a lot of potential for my future career. So I applied, and here I am now. I really wish someone had told me that it's completely okay to not know what you want to do after graduation. This personally caused me a lot of stress and anxiety in my junior and senior years at Duke because I think that there's a certain misconception at Duke where you have to know your exact steps once you graduate because it just seems like everyone around you has their whole lives figured out. And I am here to tell you that that is definitely not the case. Take your time to explore your interests, even if your exact steps post graduation don't end up working out, because regardless of what you do, everything will end up being a learning opportunity. It took me a really long time to realize this, but knowing what you don't want to do is just as important as knowing what you do want to do. So, the one piece of advice I would share with students as it relates to their career and interest exploration is to not be afraid to say yes and just try things out, even if it's just a remote interest. You never know what you might discover within yourself or where an unplanned path may take you. And especially in the very beginning of your career, take advantage of opportunities that come your way just so you could gain a lot of knowledge or learn a lot of skills. Even if it's not something you want to do for the long term, it will still be beneficial for you in the short term, which may actually lead to your long-term career. I hope this was really helpful to current students or even new Duke graduates. Please feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have any questions or just want to learn more about my journey. Bye!